like sucking.
But I ain't gay.
Legit bad podcast.
Fuck those honkies.
Welcome to Costco. I love you.
He really knows how to suck a wiener.
Well, hey there. Welcome back to Legit Bat. I'm Joe. Jen is not here. Ben is here, though. Yes, from the shores of Zimbabwe. He comes to us, and he's made
Hello.
it work. Yeah, that's pretty much it. If you want to support the show, we have a new sponsor again, magicmind.com/legitbatpod20. If you want to go check them out. And I did a mention on the last episode, so you can listen to that if you want, or just go to the website and check it out for yourself, you lazy fucks. There's also a donate button in the show notes if you want to buy us a beer or, an eighth of weed or whatever your budget allows. We're fine with it. Or you can just send the podcast to somebody you love. If there's a particular episode you find particularly interesting, send it to someone you love. Or if it's something that really pisses somebody off that you know, send them that too. I'm cool with all the above. Do whatever you want. Send it to Biden. Maybe it'll get him through his little COVID bout he's going through right now. Rest in peace. But tonight we have, I'm not going to say your last name because I don't have it, but it's Tristan. And from Learn to Love Life, it's the orangutanway.com. And he's at captain_orangutan on Instagram. So you can check him out there. But he hit me up probably a couple months ago now, and wanted to come on and have a chat with us, so that's cool. Why don't you just introduce yourself, what you do, and the weird shit you've gone through, because I hear you have brain damage, which is great for our audience.
Well, I used to have brain damage. I have completely healed my brain by using my ginger powers.
Oh, well, we know those are powerful. Shout out Drew in Australia.
Hell yeah. No, I've had a very tough life, especially childhood. Haven't seen my father in 15 or over 10 years, 15 years,
Sorry.
however long it's been. And yeah, that was very fun. I grew up with a man. I've got to be very vague about this. A man in my life that was very abusive, mentally, physically, emotionally, and had no self-worth. Became a crippling or chronic people pleaser, and always self-sabotaged. And my escape was soccer. So soccer became my life.
You just cut out. Oh, you muted yourself, dude. You're on mute. It happens.
Oh, shit. I apologize.
Start
So
back
soc-
at soccer.
Soccer became your life.
Soccer became my life, and I would work hard. People told me I did good. I'd work harder. People told me I did better. That was how I got the validation that I was missing from my father. So I become the second or third soccer player from my high school, to play in college, and first college athlete from my family to play, And one day I was eating spaghetti with my family at the end of 11th grade, and I was looking at the TV, watching TV. I looked down at my food, took a bite, looked back at the TV, and I could only see the right half of the TV. So like imagine like you're looking at your computer or your monitor and you can only see the right half. It's weird as hell.
Hold on.
So
the TV screen, but you can see around the TV, right?
no, like literally my vision was cut in half. I could not see
Okay.
anything on this side. It was
Gotcha.
weird. Yeah.
Got it.
So not
Yeah.
just the TV, the wall, the paintings, everything.
Yeah.
That's what I was
Okay.
going for. Yeah, because it almost looked like some weird trippy, like your TV fucking broke and only half of it was there, but you could only see it with one of your. I don't know. That's why I was asking.
No, it's like half of my vision broke almost. Like whenever you put your finger or your hand right here and then you look through your right eye,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
literally saw everything. Yeah, like that. So
Fucking Christ.
yeah. So I hurried up and finished my food, and I went to my room to play video games. Well, I tried to play video games, sat down, looked at my TV, could only see half of whatever I was looking at, right? So I go to my mom, who's a nurse. She gets her little pin flashlight thingy out, points in my eyes, She says, dude, your pupils are unevenly dilated. I was like, I don't know what that means. She said, we're rushing you to the hospital. Rush to the hospital, get a CT scan done. And the nurse says, everything looks good. Going to schedule an appointment with PCP. So a week goes by, go to the PCP. She walks in the room, and the first thing she says is, okay, so what are we going to do about your brain cyst?
At least it wasn't a stroke or something. That sounds like stroke type shit.
Yeah,
it's very nice of them that they informed you before she walked in, like she fucking knew that you knew.
yeah, no, like, I was very grateful to be all in the know right before being told this shit,
The bomb dropped.
No, so mom, a couple of months ago, I asked her, like, what the hell happened? She said it was an ocular migraine. I still have no idea what the hell that is. My head didn't even hurt. Anyways, so mom and I were like, brain cyst. They said everything was good. She's like, oh no, you have a brain cyst. We need to get an MRI scheduled to make sure it's not cancerous. Okay, what the hell?
Like she's just changing your oil. She's like, oh yeah, you need a new air filter, and yeah, no big deal. $15, you'll be in and out.
What
Yeah,
was what was that Louis C.K. thing? She's probably got a bunch of tumors up in her fucking head. It's like just sitting there like you might have a cancerous fucking cyst in your head, which might pop. We don't know. It's also in your head, so
Yeah.
This is the makings of a great movie, and I gotta ask, like, was it just the vision thing, or did you have like an invisible friend that told you how to code, or like anything cool like that?
No, actually, as a child, I remember having like really sharp pains in my brain and during PE. And so I guess that was kind of my friend telling me something was wrong. And I would tell my mom, and she's like, oh, thinking I'm just a child. Oh, you silly child. And everything's fine. Um, no, imaginary friends? I don't fucking know. I have no idea.
He's like, no,
I
not
guess you could,
imaginary. I do have my friend Dave. He's been with me since childhood. He's never aged a
well,
day.
well, well, you know, he is real to me. And his name isn't Dave, it's David, okay? Sometimes he likes to be called David.
David?
David? No, but so yeah, we get the MRI scheduled and have that done and have the meeting with the neurosurgeon. He says it's most likely made out of skin cells, shouldn't grow. I'm good to play soccer and to watch hitting the ball.
And here's some
I'm like,
Advil.
okay, bet. No, thank God, none of that stuff. But no, so I go back and I play the last game of 11th grade. Stoked. The team's happy. I'm happy. We won that game. I was fantastic. And the high school team that I played on, mid at best. So 12th grade comes around. I play the whole season without a hitch, and college is interested in me. Go and try out. They offer me a scholarship. Cool. So I go to college, completely forget about what the neurosurgeon said about watching to head the ball. I'm a testosterone filled 18-year-old. I want to get on this starting team so I can go up and play next level, semi pro. So I'm busting my ass every single day on the field. And off the field, I'm chasing girls, drinking, and meanwhile, I'm at a Christian college, okay? So chasing girls, drinking, going to parties, hanging with my friends, just doing random shit.
Christian girls
And
are the kinkiest, dude.
boy.
hey,
Good for you.
dude, it was very eventful to say the least. Very eventful.
Thanks for not going into detail. You're already shirtless. I
You
mean,
dog.
for the audience who
Hey,
can't
man.
see, he's literally with his shirt off right now.
I mean, I can put my shirt on if you want me to hide all this sexiness.
Oh no. My eyes are locked now. You don't do that to
Hell
me.
yeah, dude. Hell yeah. No, anyway, so I lived with self-hatred because of what was projected onto me from a young age from a certain someone. And my way of dealing with it was random women, drinking, smoking, soccer, distracting myself with anything that I could, you know. And I was very self-sabotaging for most of my life. And yeah, um, So back onto the surgery story though. At the end of my sophomore year, I get hit really, really hard in the back of my head. My whole head is on fire. I feel like I'm about to pass out, just get a major concussion. I step off the field for a couple minutes, then I jump back on, everything goes good. Go back to my dorm room, and I try to study. It feels like knives are piercing my brain. So I text mom. She says, dude, you need to get this checked out. My roommate rushes me to the hospital. Have a CT scan done, and then sent home. Told I have a migraine, right? Or not a migraine, a concussion. Need to stay off the field for a few weeks. And that they'll schedule me an appointment for a neurosurgeon just to make sure. Well, go to see the neurosurgeon. And the first thing he says, well, if you don't get a surgery within the next 6 months, you're going to be in a coma. What? Oh, yeah. The brain cyst grew and it's blocking off spinal fluid flow. You developed hydrocephalus.
No, wait, not to interject too much here, but why did the first doctor not do anything? You said that they had to. What were they going to do about it? Like, oh, just change your oil, but did they not do anything about it?
No, so the first neurosurgeon said that it was made out of skin cells and it shouldn't grow, which, thinking back on it, I don't know if the second neurosurgeon was trying to fearmonger us into having a surgery, which worked, obviously. But yeah, it was. I still have a lot of questions around that stuff, and I don't believe
bet.
it'll
Did they
ever
say
be
it was
answered.
congenital? Was it something that you were born with, or is it something you acquired by hitting your head too much?
Yeah, so the first neurosurgeon said that I was probably born with it. After a lot of research and learning things over the past 2 years, I've learned that tumors and cysts are basically a way that the body stores toxins so that they don't like damage the rest of the body. So I'm thinking that the cyst came from, I lived a very toxic lifestyle for the first 18 years of my life. So my body stored all of those toxins in the pineal area of my brain with that arachnoid cyst, right? So
So that
what?
actually, I've never heard of this, but that actually makes a hell of a lot of sense because without naming them, somebody I used to be involved with had ovarian cysts constantly growing
Mhm.
up. There was also a lot of stress, I guess you could say, because of certain things in the reproductive area, and they
Mhm.
would burst. And she got so used to just dealing with it that she would just curl up into a ball for hours until they were burst and done. And then she'd basically like it would either absorb or she'd pee them out. It
This
wasn't
is
until
gross.
it wasn't until she got pregnant, and in my opinion, having the child is what helped that with everything that was causing that. So that actually makes
Mhm.
a lot of sense, man. I'd never thought about it that way of the idea of cranial cysts actually happening because of like basically the emissions that your brain are creating in a negative way.
Well, I'm not too sure about cranial cysts specifically. This was more about just cysts and tumors in general. Like I haven't
Oh,
done
okay.
the research on that, but I listened to. Do y'all know who Alex Zek or the Way Forward is?
The name sounds familiar, yeah.
Yeah,
I
so
don't think
I first heard that on his podcast, I believe. It was either that or the Tinfoil Hat podcast, either one. But and I started looking into it. I was like, this makes a lot of sense. But yeah, I like I said, I was told that I was born with it. From the research I've done, I believe that it was just developed over time from all of the toxic ultra processed foods that I was raised on, the Mountain Dews and Coca-Colas and all of that I drank my entire life. The
Did you ever have problems with kidney stones?
honestly no. And I think it
Huh.
might be because I was sweating so much from playing soccer all my life and being outside all my life.
I was gonna say
That is an advantage.
you were playing sports, so you're probably super hydrated and keep that shit thinned out. Most of the time, and I agree with Joe because that kind of shocked me too. I would assume that you would have kidney stones. Most of the time, it's because the same people who are drinking copious amounts of sodas are also not that big into physical fitness.
Hmm.
No, they're more into
Yeah.
being fat in their mom's basement playing D&D. So and they have problems with kidney stones. You know who you are. I don't have to name y'all.
Yeah, no, I was definitely when I was home, I did not spend any time with myself. So I was definitely well, not in my mom's basement, but in my room playing video games like Mass Effects, which in my opinion is the best video game ever. Anyways, um, but yeah, so neurosurgeon says that I need to have surgery within 6 months, or I need to have surgery, or I'll be in a coma within 6 months. So get the surgery scheduled for like a week or two after that semester ends. I'm stressing, dude. Stressing. I've never had a surgery before, and the first one's gonna be brain surgery. Like, go big or go home, I guess. Fucking yeah. And so the first surgery happens, and everything seems good. I'm released the next day. Within a week, I catch meningitis. I'm in the hospital for a week. They do a spinal tap. I don't know if y'all have ever had a spinal tap done.
I've seen the movie.
I've never knew that there was a movie about that or a college spinal tap. But no, I had the spinal tap done and stayed in the hospital for a week with meningitis. And I was sent back home. Went back to the college town, was getting back in shape to play soccer because I was cleared to play. And a week into that semester, I go cliff jumping with all of my best friends on the team and my ex. And this is a cliff that's like 20, 30 feet up in the air, high up. And we were jumping off, you know, and I go to jump off one time and it's really slippery. And I go to jump and I slip and I belly flop from 20 or 30 feet up in the air. And my head hurts a little bit. I'm like, it's not a big deal. So go back to the apartment, go to sleep. I wake up at 2 or 3 in the morning, felt like a fire was running. Let me back up. There's a shunt in my brain. Okay. Drain spinal fluid from my brain into my abdomen. Okay. So, anyways, felt like a fire was running from the beginning of the shunt in my brain to the end of the shunt in my abdomen. And my roommate rushes me to the hospital. I don't remember much. We can get into what I do remember from the hospital if you want. But other than
Did you have any weird like OBEs or anything?
OBEs?
Like out of body experience or anything like that, or just were you
Yeah,
just
so
out
I
of
can
it?
get into that. Yeah. So a majority of what I remember during that time, the best way that I can describe it is close your eyes. Close your eyes real quick.
Oh, okay.
Put your hand over your eyes. What do you see?
Like light patterns.
I was gonna say
And what do you
like
see?
nothing, and also like those yellow striations,
Okay.
basically.
So focus in on the nothing, right? So think of looking at a completely black screen monitor, right?
Okay.
I saw nothing, and if you could imagine how that black monitor feels, right? I saw and felt absolutely nothing, right? It's the most peace I've ever felt in my entire life.
Oh, so it was in a good way. Most people describe
Yes.
that as hell. Wow.
No,
Most
no,
people describe that as heroin.
I
no.
was gonna say,
No, so
actually, I would agree with you. Like, I love that when I sleep and it's just nothing for 8 or 9 hours. That's the
Yes.
best.
so that is
Yes.
exactly what I feel most nights. Like when you sleep and you don't remember the dreams that you have and you just see black and you don't feel anything. That's exactly what I experienced for 4 or 5 months.
More people
For the
should have these
majority of four or
fucking
5 months.
cysts. Damn.
I don't, I don't know about that, but yeah. So imagine going from being a college soccer athlete, which I would say I was better at using my body than most people, right?
Sure.
To
I can see.
to not being able to use the entire left side of my body. Okay. So for me, I had went to sleep in my apartment and I woke up in the middle bedroom of my grandparents' house and I could not use the left side of my body. And I was also, I don't know if you can see, but I have a lazy eye right here, right? Um, Coming off all the drugs from the hospital from months in the hospital, heavily medicated, having left-sided, um, what's it called? Not crippled. It's what is it?
Like Bell's
Being
palsy?
no, not Bell's palsy. It's just being unable to use my left side. That word's left my brain. Um, and then just seeing double everything, you know?
Yeah.
The combination of those three things drove me insane.
Can imagine.
So what had happened in the hospital while I was in this out of body experience in this absolute peaceful bliss, the dark, quiet abyss that I was in, right? I had numerous surgeries. I was on my deathbed a few times. I was put on a ventilator a couple times. And the neurosurgeon that ended up saving my life put the shunt in the back of my head. This was after the first neurosurgeon fucked up so much that he caused a brainstem stroke and caused the left side paralysis. That's the word that I was looking for.
Wait a minute.
And
These are experts?
Hey, you know, man, everybody's got to trust those experts.
Okay.
Yeah, dude, like I just
So you're in the void, like just floating. That might have been a mercy, especially since you thought of it as a nice, peaceful thing. You were like plucked out of that situation for a time to just float in the void while the things happened to your meat sack, and then you.
mhm.
Do you remember the point at which you like got thrust back into the meat popsicle, and you were like, "Fuck, I'm back here."
So let me just add this real quick. I feel like I'm a different soul inside this body. Okay. So I
Oh, like
feel
the
like
walk-in thing.
I don't know about walk-in. I believe that the other soul left this body and it didn't want to come back after everything happened to it, right? And then I started becoming conscious before I entered this body, and that's where I like started becoming aware of the dark, quiet abyss that I was in, and then all of a sudden popping into this body. Um, yeah, it might have been a mercy thing, and it also could have been my soul, you know, who I am when I'm not in this body, obviously, or before I was into this body, knew what was going to happen, so I entered this body so that I could, you know, take advantage and leave a mark, you know,
Yeah.
because I wouldn't wish anything that I went through on a on my worst enemy, you know, like
Yeah.
it's
No, it sounds like
definitely.
torture. How long was this whole thing from the time you like went into the void and then popped back into maybe a different body? Like, is this months or weeks or days
So I went back into the hospital. So the first surgery happened in May of 2019. I think it was May 19th, May 17th.
of what year?
No, it was 2019.
Oh,
So
okay.
this was 4 or 5 years ago. And then I was back in the hospital mid-September. I From mid-September to beginning of November, I had upwards of 15, 16 total surgeries, and I don't even know how many brain surgeries. One reason why I had my head buzzed was so I could look at all the incisions and scars on my head, because this, like, I find new ones every day, and I'm just astonished. But
Wow.
so yeah, I was diagnosed with crippling depression. I was given antidepressants, and they worked for a while. Um, until they didn't. I Well, even before this, actually, let me backtrack. I had numerous voices in my head telling me to kill myself. Like every single night, they told me everything that I worked for my entire life was gone. Who I was gone. I can't use my left side, therefore, there's no reason to live. None of my friends will like me because I'm not an athlete anymore. And so every single night, they would keep me up and they would tell me those things. And I almost did it until I was put on the antidepressants. And the voices didn't go away. It just helped me cope with them, right?
Real
And
quick,
then
what is that like? I've never been on antidepressants or been diagnosed with any of that kind of thing. So what does it feel like? Because I've heard different people talk about this, but what does that feel like to go from having crippling depression like that to going on to something that helps enough to like at least not make you kill yourself? But what is it a numbness? Is it just kind of a indifference to everything, not good or bad, just kind of like
so
blah on the level?
yeah, I'll get to that in just a second. They helped a lot. Well, they helped me not feel bad. right? They didn't help me feel good. They just helped me not feel bad. So I felt
Yeah.
neutral, right?
It's kind of blah, right down the
Yeah.
middle.
Yeah. I was able to feel emotions for the first couple months that I was on the antidepressants. And then all emotional capacity was taken from me. I remember my mom telling me that she was pregnant with my baby sister, and I didn't feel any emotions. I said, "This is not right. I need to get this looked at because I don't want to live like this." And so there's one night in particular, I felt no emotions, had those voices in my head that were telling me to kill myself. And I was so close to going up and getting my papa's rifle, just putting the barrel of my gun and ending it all, right? And that night, Christian college had pushed me away from God and religion. They were very strict, very hypocritical,
They'll do
and
that.
very hateful.
I was
Yeah,
just about to say that. Isn't that wild how you go somewhere thinking that it's going to be in the lightest form possible themed, and it ends up getting you away from the exact thing that you kind of went there to get nurtured in. It's really fucking pitiful.
yeah. Well, the only reason I went there was to play soccer. But yeah, like very hypocritical. They forced chapel on everybody, and the very first chapel that they held, they were talking so much shit about Muslims, saying that all Muslims and Jews were going to go to hell because they didn't believe what the right religion, you know? I was just sitting there like, I thought Christians were supposed to be accepting and loving of everybody because nobody would join their religion if they didn't, you know? And that was a rude awakening. But so yeah, that college that college pushed me away from God and religion, right? And on that day, on that night that I was so close to getting my papa's rifle, I decided to give it all up to God. And you can call it whatever you want. You can call it God, the creator, the source, universe, whatever. That's fine. I decided to give it all to God. I cussed at God. I begged him. I asked him why he did this to me, why God did this to me. I asked all these questions and I just let everything go, right? And I decided that I was going to give it a few days before I did it. Well, within those few days, something happened and helps me realize that I was kept alive because I have a powerful story that can help others. And so that helped me not kill myself. That didn't help me feel good. I was just like, okay, I'm here for a reason. What can I do with this? Well, I was still on the antidepressants and I decided I don't want to be on these anymore. Weaned off of them with the help of my PCP at the time. And I was like, okay, I'm just going to raw dog depression and anxiety and imposter syndrome. Well, I didn't actually raw dog it because I was distracting myself with porn, women, drugs, weed, video games, all that stuff, right? And
That's just a Tuesday, dude. Don't be too hard on yourself.
what are you talking about? That's like a Tuesday morning.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, it's a nondescript day during the week. Don't be too hard on yourself.
Breakfast.
No, dude, like every single day, multiple times a day, for at least, one or two of those things, right? And so, so,
One more than the others, am I right?
oh
He's
yeah,
all looking at his fucking checklist. It's noon, and he's like, "Oh fuck, I gotta get this shit going.
I'm way behind schedule. What am I doing?
Never gonna accomplish anything today."
dude, fuck, dude, man, if only that would have been lit. No, so, so, yeah, I lived like that for just about 2 years. Okay, finished college, graduated with a bachelor's in sport management, like a good little boy, in the system. And I graduated, came back home because I'm broke as fuck. And no, my funds be slacking, but this ass be packing. Um, anyways, so um, came back home and I decided that I was tired of living with such depression, anxiety, and misery. I said, there's got to be something better for this. Well, I had two more surgeries in August of 2022. Yeah, because the shunt failed again. And I was sent back up into the dark abyss. and my body was put through all that. And I became conscious after the surgeries, and I didn't know what anything happened. And I have a badass candy cane scar in the back of my head now. So, um,
And just for anybody who isn't familiar, a shunt is kind of like a storm drain for your brain, right? Like it's like a drainage pipe they stick in there to let loose the extra whatever is in there.
spinal fluid. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, that's exactly what. Well, yeah, that's a great description, man. I would say it's a what are those rain things on houses? What are they called?
Yeah, a rain gutter.
Yeah, a rain gutter. I think that would be a better description. And the one that you gave was really good as well. Um, yeah, so I had those two surgeries, and I had just started like diving into getting better, right? Feeling better about myself. And I said, okay, God has me here for a reason. This didn't happen by accident. This was like a wake up call. So I fully dove into fundamentally changing the man I am. And I was less than 10% body fat my entire life from running miles upon miles every day. And I was getting pretty fat from eating all the processed foods. So I stumbled upon Mason Core's TikTok account. I don't know if y'all know who that is, but he owns a Stampede Network and amazing subs. Um, so he said that seed oils cause us to burn in the sun, to be more sensitive in the sun. Me being a ginger, I'm like, okay, what if there's any validity to this? So I cut out all of the seed oils. I download his free grocery guide, and I follow that to a T. I only ate the stuff that I like. I lost 30 pounds in 3 months. I have not gotten a sunburn that lasted more than a day ever since.
And you're a ginger. Damn.
And I'm a
good
fucking
job.
ginger. I even got tan. Now, granted, it was like a tenth of a shade darker, but it's
Well,
tan.
hold on.
No, your
Let's-
freckles connected.
Joe, your audio changed. It sounds like you're talking inside of a cardboard box.
Oh. Wait, is that better?
listeners,
Is that
let me
better?
see. Yeah,
Is that
that's better.
Okay, sorry.
Listen up, fuckers, because for those of you that have fire crotch out there, he has fucking cracked the curse on being able to not be able to only walk outside and have your freckles connect. So, yeah, you should listen to that part.
Look, dude. Look, I'm just saying. The only time I got sunburnt, it lasted a day, and I got a tenth of a shade darker. So I was. One of my old friends told me I was an honorary Mexican. I was like, hell yeah. And I am so ginger that I have red hair everywhere. That's why my socials are Captain_orangutan. I call myself an orangutan for a reason. But
The carpets
dude, so-
match the drapes, if you know what I mean.
dude, the carpets, the flooring, the windows, the roof, everything matches the drapes.
The carpet pad underneath, everything.
The sewer gutter. Yeah, dude. So, fuck, I forgot where I was at.
So you didn't get a
seed oil.
You got a tan. You didn't burn. You lost 30 pounds.
Yeah, I lost 30 pounds in 3 months, and I haven't looked back since. Right, ever since I lost that weight and started feeling better about myself, I look at the foods that I used to eat. I'm just like disgusted. I'm like, how could I have eaten that shit my entire life?
Dude, I think the same
and-
thing about not just carbs, but like all the bread I used to eat. Like I used to eat bread like every meal, and I used to eat 3 meals a day. Now I think about it, I'm like, dude, if I ate that much bread now, I would look like the Michelin Man. Like I don't understand how I used to eat that much. I eat about the equivalent of once a day, and that just means one meal spaced throughout the day, basically. Like I can't even fathom eating more than that now. And they're still pushing breakfast as the most important meal, and then you got to have a lunch, and then steak and taters for dinner. And it's like, no, you don't need all that at all.
Yeah, no, like it's crazy how much we are manipulated through marketing and media and all that shit, because they don't care about our health. They just care about getting profits, right? So do the diet change, right? The way that I changed my diet was over the course of a month or two. And I knew that if I attacked it the way most people do, which is good on like all those bad TV diets, it wouldn't be sustainable. And I was like, okay, how can I make this sustainable? I looked at the foods that I like, which was sour Skittles, sour fruits or sour foods, and really sweet foods, right? So I was like, okay, let me get some sour fruits, sweet fruits, and I'm going to keep the meat, and we'll see how this goes. I have not cheated on my diet at all. Not
Well,
with
there's
any
really
of the
nothing to
old
cheat
foods,
on,
you
right?
know? Exactly, because I'm
Yeah.
getting all of the flavor profiles that I love. And it's crazy how these diet companies market as if they are sustainable when they are the exact opposite, you know? Because my entire life, I thought dieting was salads and kale and all that stuff, you know?
No,
Or
it's disgusting. They try to sell you this one size fits all uh plan for dieting. It's like, oh, do this diet and you'll lose 30 pounds. Some of them, sure. Atkins is actually no joke, and that kind of led into the keto and carnivore type of thing. And really what Atkins was doing was just like cut out sugar and carbs, which is a good idea. You do need carbs for sure, but not from pizza crust, not from cinnamon
fruits,
rolls.
vegetables, potatoes, stuff like that.
Yeah,
That's
you can
how I get
get
my
plenty
carbs.
of really good carbs that you need. That's fine.
Hmm.
But this one size fits all, like Slim Fast in the 90s, like eat this or drink this for one meal a day and you'll lose this many pounds. It's like
Yep.
you're drinking sugar. You're not going to do shit.
Sugar, seed oils, all kinds of chemicals. It's crazy, you know. And another thing that I want to highlight on the diet part is the importance of looking at the ingredients. I don't count calories. I look at the ingredients
Mm-hmm.
because if you it doesn't for me it doesn't matter how much I eat as long as I'm not eating shit. You know.
And I think that that used to be pretty well known when the ingredient list was already on a general basis substantially smaller.
Yeah.
We've been you see the like the big ads and stuff. There's this guy that does an app, and he was a trainer for Hollywood stars and this, that, and the other. But he got, I think it was Dr. Mercola or somebody like that to sign off on what he was talking about. And he goes,
Hmm.
you need calories. Everybody that sits there and they're like, oh my God, I gotta cut out calories. He's like, alls that does is starve you, and then as
Hmm.
soon as you are done with your diet and your beach body, it goes right back because it has nothing to do with the amount of calories you're eating. It has to do with what kind of calories you're eating. If you
Yep.
need 8,000 calories and you eat it basically fucking raw with zero ingredients list, it's the best kind of calories. You're going to have energy. You're going to put on the correct amount of weight. All of it. It's fucking
Well,
wild.
and calorie counting never works because A,
Hmm.
people
That's what he
don't
was
have
saying.
self control. Yeah. And B, if you do that for any period of time and then go back to eating the way you did, it's like binge drinking. All of a sudden, that whole weight that you lost is back in like a week because your body's
Yeah, and
like,
I've
fuck
actually
yeah.
yeah, and I've actually done some research. I can't remember who. I think it might have been Paul Saladino or someone else. Yo-yo dieting, which is exactly what y'all are describing, that is much worse for our bodies than just eating straight shit the entire time because your
At
body
least your
goes
body gets used to it. Yeah.
exactly. You throw your body like fasting is different than yo-yo dieting. Yo-yo dieting is you do these fad diets for a month or two, you lose a lot of weight, you feel better about yourself, then you start binge eating the same stuff that you used to, then you get fatter, and then you get back on that diet, you lose the weight, then you gain the weight back, and it's just yo-yo, you know, back and forth. And your body is so caught off guard by that that it starts trying to protect itself. You know, it goes into survival mode, and then you break the survival mode by eating all of the seed oils and chemicals and stuff like that. And your body's basically just trying to save itself by storing all the toxins in the form of fat cells, tumors, cysts, stuff like that. From my understanding. Now, let me just say real quick, do not believe any of the things that I'm saying. Go research this stuff for yourself. The
We are
world does
not
not need
medical
more
doctors.
yeah,
You
well,
are a gem for saying that.
the world does not need more blind followers. The world needs more free thinkers. So, do your own research. If you disagree with me, it's completely fine. I'm not going to force you to agree with me because everybody's different. Everybody has different perspectives. You are completely fine. That's fine. I don't care. But
And also, this is satire and just for entertainment purposes anyway. So go away, fucking FCC or whatever. And I did want to mention on that with the fasting thing. Most people don't ever even consider doing that, even for a day, let alone longer than that. And shout out to our girl Allison Gray over at when Humans Had Wings. Sorry, I almost forgot that. She and it's her Substack too, but she just had a video the other day talking about reading the story of Jesus fasting for 40 days and 40 nights. She's like, "Do you know what the fuck happens to your body when you fast that long? Your brain like goes into overdrive. Like people think we're taught that it's so bad for you to fast. Like, you got to have your 3 meals a day to grow and be a big strong boy, you don't. And we talked to Mitch, the organ donor, too, and he talked about autophagia, where at a certain point with fasting, your body starts consuming itself, but not in a bad way. It starts consuming all the extraneous bad shit that's in there.
Yep.
Parasites, tumors, cysts, anything like that. Basically, you can, okay, not a medical doctor again, but what he was getting at is that it can fix a lot of things that are wrong by literally just fasting for like 3
Yep.
days. Just nothing, just water. And after, I will attest to this, after about the 12th to 14th hour, you don't feel as hungry anymore because your body's found other ways to start getting nutrients from all the shit that's piling around
Well,
your gut.
basically what it does is it's a pause for the body to go, okay, we're hungry. We need you to put stuff in us so we can continue. And when you deprive it of that, it goes, all right, fuck you. We're going to start eating ourselves because we're fucking hungry. And then it starts eating all that fat away from you that you've stored. Literally, it's like winter hibernation for your body. And it just starts eating that all the bad shit first. It's like, let's get all of this out of here. And then we'll work on the muscle because the body's smart. And it's like, well, what can we eat that isn't really necessary? That big fucking gunt in the front of this guy. Let's eat that first. And then we'll go to other shit if he keeps doing it to us.
Yeah, and it's like I said, it's just inbuilt into us in Western culture to be like, that is ridiculous. That's bad for you. You're gonna die. No, you're not. Again, not medical advice, but just give it a try sometime because you feel different. You definitely do. I know in a mental state, especially, you feel fucking different when you're fasting for that long. It's like sharp, like you feel sharp as fuck, and it's
Yep.
probably because you're in massive ketosis, and that's not bad, as far as I can tell.
Yeah, the way that I understand it is when your body's not using energy digesting things and breaking it down and absorbing it, it works to expel all the toxins. And y'all explain it very well, like almost perfectly. And I love it because, well, the way I understand it at least, because we're taught but in Western culture that the body is out to kill us basically. And the only way to keep it healthy is to put um, chemicals that are made from petroleum in us that are prescribed.
Cheese whiz and Ritz, man. Just put that in. You'll be
Cheese
fine.
whiz, Ritz, and fucking antidepressants.
Yeah.
You know, but yeah, no, the body is incredibly intelligent, and people underestimate it. It's crazy. Um, Getting back onto my story though.
Yeah, sorry about that.
So no, man, I love tangents, dude. I love tangents. So, um, I lost the 30 pounds, and I was like, okay, I quit vaping in December of 2022, and I noticed that I have a little bit of breast tissue on my left side. And my hypothesis is that I fucked my hormones so much from depleting myself to the adult websites and women and vaping that, well, and eating all the toxic foods and stuff, that my body's testosterone levels were like suboptimal for a while. And so I'm getting that corrected slowly but surely. Um, but yeah, so I was like, okay, so I lost all this weight and I feel much better about myself. What else is possible? So I was scrolling Instagram one day, and Mason Core, the guy that I mentioned, had posted a video with this man named Captain Taylor Morgan. And I was like, whoa, this dude looks legit. So I started following him, and I joined his community, and I signed up for his program and went through it. And to say it's life changing is doing it a disservice. It's life optimization, and I learned so much shit. Um, I feel so much better about myself, and that's where the captain part of Captain Orangutan came from because it's called the Captain's Lifestyle Program, and I'm a fundamentally better man than I was before I went through it. And then went to the first immersion. Amazing. It was very healing. Second immersion, very informative. And these immersions are in-person retreats. They used to be for men only. Now they are open for men and women. I'm not sure if it's going to be every one of them, but yeah, he's recently opened it up to women as well. But yeah, so graduating from that inspired me to create a program of my own, and I call it the Orangutan Way, because you know, living the orangutan way. This what I do every single day. Is we can get into it, but my favorite parts of my program are my mindset hacks, as I call them, because while doing all of this stuff, all the lifestyle transformations, like optimizing my sleep, getting my feet on the ground, exercising more, eating better, cold showers, waking up better, getting sun exposure, all of that stuff. The mindset principles, the mindset hacks that I found and created during this time, they are, I don't want to say the most or the biggest. They are what keep me going, you know,
Yeah.
because I learned that mindset is the most important part of our health. You can convince an entire population that they're sick just by pushing through the media all of these things that could make them sick. I mean, just look at the past.
Oh, well,
Yeah,
yeah. When did we
exactly.
hear
Yeah.
of that?
It must have been like 1916.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
know?
yeah. It was a long time
Yeah,
ago.
yeah,
Yeah.
very long time ago. I don't know of any recent events, but
Mm-mm.
no. So mindset, dude, you can literally brainwash people into thinking that they are healthy or that they are sick, right? A good one that I like to refer to, I don't know exactly what these people's names are or where this study came from, but there's this woman who had a daughter, and had so much she was so selfish that she convinced her daughter from the time she was born that she was sick and had a chronic illness, right? And
Oh,
so
isn't
the
that
daughter,
Munchausen's or something?
don't get me lying, but the daughter for years thought she had a debilitating illness, and they went to the doctor when she was like 16 or so. Doctor told her nothing was wrong with her, and the daughter ended up killing her mother because the daughter had lived with so much pain, misery, so many medications, because the daughter thought she was sick and she thought that she couldn't live without the medications. And every time she had tried to get off the medications, those symptoms came up in her, even though she had nothing.
Placebo or nocebo.
Exactly, exactly. And the placebo nocebo effects, that's a perfect example of how mindsets affects our health. You know, if we take a sugar pill and we think that it's an antibiotic, our body's going to kill off all of the bacteria because our body is intelligent. You know, our body can do amazing things. But yeah, dude,
Yeah,
the
I heard an interesting interview with a guy. I think it was Dr. Caldwell. I think he was a German guy, maybe. I'd have to look it up, but it was really interesting. He's basically talking about that same thing where he's like, the people that I've seen that are the least sick are the people who don't give a shit about being sick. It's not on their mind. They're not manifesting it. They're just going about their day, not caring. Oh, I got a little ouchie here. Fuck it. It'll be fine and carry on. He's like, the people that end up getting the most debilitating diseases are hypochondriacs.
yes,
People that constantly think they're sick. It's so on the forefront of their mind that they're creating it, and they focus on it, like, oh, I have a pain in my gut. It's obviously cancer. I'm going to die. They go to the doctor and they're like, yeah, you got cancer. See, I fucking knew it. And then it's like a self-fulfilling prophecy.
yeah,
It's
they
wild.
manifested it. It's
Yeah.
it's yeah, it's I believe that comes from chronically watching the news and chronically ingesting that fear porn every single day.
Or going to
Because
WebMD once.
WebMD wants, yeah, because dude, there's so much negativity and hatred that's spread out or pushed out through the media, through the internet, and if you're not knowledgeable about how to go about doing research, then you can come upon some very dark news and information that could drastically change your life.
Yeah, and that's just on mainstream. Wait till you get to the dark web. Don't go there
Shit,
if you're
I'm not even gonna fuck with that.
yeah. So let's get into your what's your orangutan way? Do you have like bullet points of what you do like I mean, you went over a couple things, but like, what's your day to day in the orangutan way?
Orangutan way. So you want me to go through my morning routine?
Do it.
All right. So I wake up and I go back to sleep. No, I'm messing. No,
I do too. Wow.
hell yeah. No, I wake up and I hop in a cold shower first thing in the morning, and then I do a workout and I eat my nutritious breakfast, which has lately been. I can get into the ingredients of my nutritious yogurt if you want to know.
Yeah.
So it's A2 yogurt, if you know what A2 is, for the audience. A2 is a protein in cows and goats that was produced by all cows until the Industrial Revolution, whenever their living was not that good. They weren't fed the best feed. They were sick, and basically their genes just kind of got a downgrade. They went from A2 protein to A1, and A2 is produced by humans, goats, and some cows. So A2 protein is much easier digested. That's why I like to consume A2 dairy, right? So it's A2 yogurt, organic blueberries, raspberries, strawberries, local honey, and cacao powder. Do you know what diatomaceous earth is?
Yeah, isn't that the shit that kills snails?
Basically, yeah. It's a great parasite and toxin detox. And I
Can
also
you
take
eat it?
activated charcoal. Yeah, food grade.
Oh, like in a capsule or?
Well, no, it's a food grade. It's like a powder.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but I've been taking that for a while, and I've been expelling a lot of toxins. Anyways, so I eat that for breakfast, and then I go for a walk to help my digestion, and I get the sunrise in my eyes, and then I will, man, during the 2 years that I lived with crippling depression and anxiety, I was hunched over working on my laptop in my lap, and always looking at my phone. So I developed this neck hump, which I come to find out, which was called a dowager's hump, and I'm working to correct that. So I'll lay on a spine thing in the morning for a certain amount of time, however long, until I
The
get
thing
tired
that
of it.
stretches you out, like it tilts you upside down, or does it just keep you straight?
No, no, no. It's like a little, for lack of a better term, pillow, and it's
Oh, okay.
like it helps like stretch out your neck. But I've been using it for 2 years, and I've seen minimal results, if any. I'll just keep sticking with it for now. Anyways, and then if my baby sister's here, we go on a Bubba Waxy walk. Her name is Kendall. Whenever mom told me her name, the first thing that popped in my head was Candle. So Kendall, Candle Wax, Kindle Wax. So she's my little waxy wax. And so we go on a Bubba Waxy walk. And I love that little girl to death. And yeah, I'll just get to work reaching out to clients and keep working on the program. And yeah. And then on days
Nice.
that I go to work, it's a little different, obviously, but yeah, that's basically the summary of my day.
But and as easy as that sounds in theory to people, having the lifestyle and the mindset to do that is quite a different thing, especially coming out of what you came out of. Like just to be able to do that every day is way more than I do, and I have not had traumatic brain cysts or surgeries yet.
Well, there's always a time. No, no, hell no, no. Fucking, you know, people have told me that my story is like that I'm a hero, that I'm God's chosen one, that I'm this and that, and like it doesn't feel like that to me. Not because I feel like I'm tortured or that God
But
hates
it's not
me.
off the table.
I mean, we could say that, no, but no, like it just doesn't feel like that to me because I just put in the work to get better. Like I just kept my head down, kept going, kept going, kept going, because I learned one thing that helped me stay more positive during the parts of my recovery where I was conscious, like relearning how to use my left side, was everything's temporary. Like all the feelings that I was feeling, the thoughts that I was having, the emotions, well, feelings, emotions, same thing. The situation that I was in would end at some point, right? The beauty of this life is that it's temporary. And so when I realized that, it helps me push harder for that good that was coming after the bad, you know?
Yeah.
I want to throw in something on that. It's really important that people start to get this part of like their daily mindset, because not only do I agree with you about the mindset thing, um, there was a saying I heard years ago when I was in the academy, and unfortunately, I still believe it's true. But life is 90% what happened. Life is 10% what happens to you and 90% how you respond.
Mm-hmm.
And that couldn't be more true. We have this idea that if we feel it, like there's that whole my feelings are valid. Okay, well, hold on a second. Let's break that down. The fact that you're having them is valid, clearly, because you're having them. We can't
Mm-hmm.
control feelings in the introduction that they give to us. You have those that, and it takes a long time and experience for you to not initially have knee-jerk reactions and feelings like that. But the thing about feelings is that it's valid that you have them. It isn't valid that you keep them. It's also not
Mm-hmm.
valid that you act on them. A lot of guys have a great feeling about fucking the chick at the bar when they're married, but they probably shouldn't have that fucking feeling because it's not right, it's going to hurt people, and they're going to regret it. So it's like,
Yep.
how far do you want to go with the logic? Because not only should your mindset be life happens and a lot of it is shitty. So am I just going to constantly be in this state of, oh fuck, life sucks, Bob? You're going to end up contracting fucking cancer at like 35. Or you could go, you know what? That wasn't optimal, but look at all this great shit I have that I don't need. Look at all the
Mm-hmm.
look at all the people that love me that maybe I don't deserve their love. Like always be positive about it instead of it being this, oh, this thing is I either can't have or it happened to me. It's like, dude, that's everyone. Fuck.
No, and everybody knows that person that is very stuck on the my life is so shitty. Like nobody knows my life is so shitty. And it's like, no, shitty things happen to literally everyone. You're not alone. And I don't mean that in an encouraging way. I mean that in a
Mm-hmm.
get off your shit. You're not unique. Everybody has shitty things happening all the time. Just not everybody voices it. That's why you don't think not everyone is like you, because not everyone's on Facebook fucking bitching about it. Okay, so just shut
Right.
up.
Like that
That's a great
person that
point.
you end up getting that's notorious in the group and they're like, I love them. They they have such a great life. Like they never complain about anything. They always have their shit together. It's like, dude, that person probably has way more things to complain about because they're fucking responsible. Like, do you get that? Like, it's probably
Yeah.
because they are
I'm gonna go turn the lamp on
responsible.
real quick. 1 second.
Oh, you're good. It's probably that they are responsible and they are stressed out constantly.
Well, yeah, and a lot of the basis for oh their life is so awesome is like 3 posts on Instagram. It's like,
Yeah, that's true.
are you that stupid and naive? Like, are you kidding me? Try talking to these people. They have
Well,
just the same amount of things going on. It's just different things.
I actually, it's funny that you say that because I remember many times I would post, I would post like pictures or something of something that I had done with the kids. And the next time I saw somebody that, I hadn't seen in a long time, they're like, oh my God, I see all the posts on Facebook. It's really cool to see. You're such a good dad. And I go, just because I posted something on Facebook, I could be the shittiest dad in the world. But because I posted that I threw my kid into the pool doesn't necessarily mean that, like, oh, he's a good dad. It's like, we have this idea now, especially with social media, that it's like because you see pictures and videos and people's fucking constant thoughts on social media, that therefore you know the person and that person is who they are. It's like you really think that they're going to sit there and just on a daily basis go, I wanted to kill the guy across the street today because he has a chicken and he doesn't fucking lop its head off and it wakes me up at fucking 1:30 in the morning. It's like
Yeah, you can't put real thoughts on social media
you
because
can't
they
put
ban
real
you.
thoughts on it.
They fucking
Yeah,
ban
and
you if you do that.
people wouldn't think you're a great person. Like we have this idea that 3-second clips and pictures and stuff, somehow that is who you are. We have completely lost the idea that 99% of people wouldn't say nearly the shit that they say on Facebook if they were in front of people.
No, you
Yeah.
got to go to the dark web for that, but they're all anonymous on there. But they will tell you what they think. Trust
true.
me. Yeah. But yeah, so I like your whole story, dude. It's fucking wild. And for anybody who thinks their life is shitty, like listen to what this guy's gone through and maybe just shut up because nobody wants to hear it anyway. But we did
And I
want to
would
hear
like to
his
say,
story.
so what?
Oh, no, I just meant we wanted to hear your story because you've overcome it so much since then and are out there trying to help other people, which is what you should be doing.
Sir, I would also like to say, yes, listen to my story, and don't compare yourself to me because comparing, I don't want you to feel like your traumas are any better or worse than mine because they're valid to us at the time that we have them, right?
They're just
And if we
different.
don't heal from yeah, exactly, if we don't heal from them, then they will always be valid. However, if we work to heal from them, then they can become tools to help us in our growth. They can become examples of how we never want to be, like, yeah, how we never want to be to our future spouse, our future kids, our future family. We can we Life is fair in the way that it is unfair to everybody, right?
Yes.
And it gives everybody the opportunity
Unbiased.
to grow from the quote unquote bad shit that happens.
Mm-hmm.
And I say quote unquote because you can take that bad shit and create a reason for it happening. I like to say
Mm-hmm.
that everything happens for a reason, and I've had some angry people lash out at me saying that nothing happens for a reason, everything's pointless. And I said, okay, if this is true, can you not create the reason for this happening? And they have no response for it yet, at least. But everything happens for a reason, whether it's the reason is from an external source or you create the reason from within you. You find the reason for it happening. And yeah, dude, like,
And sometimes there's no clearly defined reason as far as you can
mm-hmm.
tell. But that doesn't matter anyway. Like, it's still how you respond to it. So whether you find the reason for it or not doesn't really matter as much as what you do with that knowledge and, do what you can to fix it.
I mean,
Well,
shit. Sometimes it could take years to get that answer. You know, and that's why I
well,
said, well, create the answer. You know, or reason.
well, what you're just saying, it might take years. It's like people always they see people who are doing well and they know their story and they know that it's kind of dark and they see them excelling in life and they're like, it's so crazy. It's awesome to see how that person conquered their traumas. It's like,
Mm-hmm.
we, no, I'm not saying they aren't conquering them every day, but it is every day putting in work that like traumas have this really shitty way of bringing themselves back up in new ways. Like you feel like you kind of pinned it. It's like whack-a-mole. Like you pinned it down in one spot and then it pops up a little bit later somewhere else. It's
Mm-hmm.
like you don't just sit there and say, I got 100% achievement on this and now it is conquered. It's like that's
Well,
not how it works. It's constant work. You have to be willing to put in the work all day, every day, if you want to get better at one, understanding, and two, dealing, and three, coping with what has happened to you. And it takes years until you get to the point where people look at you and go, I would have never known that that happened to you.
Yeah, and for all the people that say, most of my problems could be solved if I was a billionaire, don't disagree. A lot of the main problems I deal with would probably be solved by that, but it would come with
Mm-hmm.
a whole mess of new ones.
Oh,
And
yeah.
the kind of stresses that those people have and things they have to deal with are things I would rather not. I'm actually cool with just dealing with my poor people problems. At least I know how
Yeah.
to, for the most part. Like,
fair enough. Yeah.
so stop
Um.
looking at what you don't have. That was a big thing I heard the other day too. Is if you start wanting the things you have, you want the things you don't have a lot less because
I
you just realize how much shit you have. Most people
Mm-hmm.
do too.
that I actually have had that conversation several times. The way that I heard it was if you want more of what you have, you won't need to have what you want because you already want more of what you have. It's like
Mm-hmm.
love the things that are around you and you're gonna be content with not having to get new shit to fill that void. Like it's never good enough. And
And
Joe and I, we've talked about this many times. It's like there's a fine line between contentment and complacency. And I know I'm very guilty of sometimes falling into complacency. But it's like, for the most part, because of the way that I look at things, it's like I don't think it's complacency to be constantly happy about where I'm at will I take the open door if it is there and I see it? Sure, of course. But that doesn't mean that I need an open door for me to feel like I'm happy or that I have to constantly be climbing for that next challenge to make myself feel fulfilled.
Right, you're not
Sometimes I
setting your
mean,
sights on that idealistic open door.
yes,
If it comes along, awesome. If I have to do a couple nudgings to do it, okay, fine. But it's not in your sights all the time. Some people would call
Yeah.
you non-ambitious to do that, but well, fuck you.
I called myself that, dude. I was like, I'm not an ambitious person. There's a lot of people, they see ambition because a lot of times to be ambitious, you're usually a hard worker. Usually, you do see people that are ambitious and they don't want to put the work in, and so those are the people that they jump around in their lives and they're moving and they're changing jobs like every couple of years, and they do it for 10, 15 years. It's like you don't necessarily have that, but for the most part, people like Blair, they're also extremely hardworking. But you also have people like Dad, who has no ambition to do anything other than what he has always done, but he's an extremely hard worker.
The
That is
50s
definitely
mentality.
very much like that is definitely my mindset. It's like I don't need to get the next rank at work. I just will work hard every day at what I'm doing, and I believe that that will naturally come. Like,
Yeah. Well,
And
dude,
that's
thanks for coming on. Did you have any other links or
well,
anything you wanted to share? Or
actually,
any
real
final
yeah,
words of wisdom? Yeah.
real quick, the final words of wisdom. The way that I kickstarted my self-improvement journey, I mentioned that I went on that diet or transformed my diet. Even before this, I had those voices come back, and I was deathly afraid of them. And one night, I saw a video from that Mason Core guy again, and it said, "Fear comes up. Fear is false evidence appearing real, and what you're afraid to do is what you're meant to do, right?" And so, what I was afraid to do the most, I was so fucking scared of this, was to let those thoughts in my mind, because I thought those were my thoughts, and I thought that I would end up doing something bad to myself because of my thoughts, right? Well, I sat in a dark, quiet room and I let those thoughts in my mind. And I analyzed them for what they are or were, just thoughts. And I realized that they are echoes of people who had projected that self hatred and negativity onto me from a young age. And so when I realized that, I started replacing them with positive thoughts of my own. And the positive thoughts didn't work until I started creating the proof. And one more thing, well, that is my dark, quiet room method. And I actually just finished filming a free training video, and I'm figuring out how to get that on my website. But another thing that I didn't touch on that I've been really big about the past couple of months is identifying with things that don't benefit you. I used to call the depression mine. I used to call the anxiety mine, the strokes, brain surgery mine. And with that, I was allowing them to have more control over my life than what I had, right? So I used them as excuses for why I did or did not do things. And when I realized that, I started changing the way I talk about them. So I don't say I'm depressed. I don't say I'm anxious. I don't say claim the surgeries and stroke as mine because they don't benefit me. I say I feel depressed. I have depression. I had a lot of brain surgeries. I had a brainstem stroke, and that helps my subconscious detach from it because I learned that. Do you know what the reticular activation system is?
I've heard of it, but I couldn't tell you a definition.
Yeah, so you know when you buy a new car, all of a sudden you see that same car everywhere.
Oh, okay, yeah, yeah.
So it brings things into our awareness, into our personal reality, which is our personality, right? So it's when we claim things, it makes that shit a reality. So like I am happy, right? That makes that shit a reality. When I said that I was depressed, it made that a reality. When I claimed the stroke and brain surgeries as mine, it made that shit a reality, made that shit a recurring reality, and allowed me to use those as an excuse to do or not do certain things. So when I stopped claiming them as mine, when I stopped identifying as or with them, my life started getting much better because I gained more freedom and control over my life and my actions. So That's my spiel on identifying and claiming things. Because words
No,
are
I love
incredibly.
that.
I will back you up with that too, because oh fuck, I just had a brain fart as soon as it entered my mind. Carry
That
on.
smells
If I
good.
remember it, go
It
ahead.
smells like ass.
No, I was just going to say identifying with things seems to be the order of the day in 2024. So maybe not, pay so much attention to what you identify as and get mad when people don't call you the right things. You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, man. If you don't call me an orangutan, I get so mad and I start climbing trees and throwing shit at everybody.
Oh, okay. Well, now I have to see that. So what's your YouTube?
Please don't.
Well, dude, thanks so much for coming on, and we'll have you on again sometime soon, and go over some, maybe an update on what you've been doing, or how, any additions you've made to your little
Yeah, man.
orangutan way, and
we can go in depth into my mindset hacks and some of the methods or modalities that I've really dove into over the past few months.
yeah,
And
for
then
sure.
shoot the shit too. It doesn't matter.
Hell yeah. Well, thanks, dude. Thanks everybody on YouTube. I was gonna say Facebook, but I don't post anything there. YouTube, Rockfin, and audio, and you can find Tristan at the orangutanway.com and at Captain_orangutan on Instagram.
Spelling orangutan, it's ORANGUTAN. There's no G. So
yes, it's not Tang. Tan.
Yeah, tan like I'm trying to get again.
Yes. Trying to connect those freckles. We got it.
Hell yeah, man.
All right, everybody. Have a good night, weekend. We'll see you next week.
Thanks for listening.
Thank you for listening to Legit Bad. Please address all content grievances to gofuckyourself@yourmom.com. See you next week.